So here we are. Alyssa Thompson, is she on the move? Last week, rumors started to circulate that Women's Super League team Chelsea were looking into acquiring U.S. Women's National Team winger and Angel City forward Alyssa Thompson. Late on August 31st, Angel City updated their availability report for Monday's match against Bay FC, and everyone took note that Thompson was an excused absence. So that leads us to today. How true are these rumors? Is Alyssa Thompson, in fact, on the move? The transfer window closes very soon. It closes on Thursday. So is that last goal that we saw by Alyssa Thompson, maybe the last goal that we saw for her in an Angel City uniform, at least this season? There's been a lot of speculation, and I think coming out of that game in particular, I know for myself, or maybe for those of us who are like actively working in this space, there are things that you see and you're like, this feels like it's trending in a certain direction. And I think if you look at the timeline of things, where you look back and say, okay, Chelsea making the formal approach, and then now an excused absence, and you're kind of like, well, this could potentially be writing on the wall. And if maybe, just maybe, you are one of those folks who are just hanging and clinging on to the tiniest threads of hope that she will stay stateside, then you have a post-game conference in which the head coach is asked about things. And maybe let's sort of give that as additional context before we dive into this as well. Alexander Strauss, of course, was asked about Alyssa Thompson and the situation going. And he said a lot of interesting things without saying too much. He essentially said that there's not much that he could say. He said that he could not comment, not that he would not comment, but the couple things that he said, he noted that the team is performing. He said, we have lost without Alyssa, which I don't know, to be honest. I cannot comment on that and how the situation is. We lost other 3 international players and we got better. This group, the way we work, how they can all grow together, I'm so proud of them today. And so then he goes on and sort of continues to say about like whether or not a player is here, they figure it out as a group when they have a shakeup to them. And he kind of closed out saying that the players need to adapt to new things. And I'm just really, really proud of them and how they came together. And we became something bigger than just the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 players. We became something bigger. And that's beautiful to see, to be honest. So here we are. Let's just start with initial reactions. Jordan, I'm going to go to you with this first. Your first reactions when you just started hearing some of the rumor, the formal approach, and then seeing the excused action, and then the comments from Strauss here.
My first reaction when I saw the approach from Chelsea was strike while the iron's hot. Alyssa Thompson is top 5 wingers in the world right now. And Jen and I know this very well. Your career is a blip, right? It goes by so fast. And if there is an opportunity to go play for one of the most well-known clubs in the world, and you're a young 20-year-old who is at the peak of your form, you're interested in that. And it doesn't matter where you're from or what club you're playing at. You want to be able to get the most out of your career. And so I thought of Alyssa Thompson in her reaction at first. I didn't think of what this is going to do to NWSL, because I don't think it will be good for the optics in NWSL. But her as a player with this opportunity, I thought, girl, go play, go get your money, go play against some of the best in the world. Not just within your Chelsea club, but getting an opportunity to play in Champions League. So that was my first reaction when I saw the injury report and the excused absence on Sunday night, because we as the media get a little preview to that. I thought, bye girl, like she gone. And then the comments, I think, just kind of, for me, confirmed that she is not going to be with the team anymore. But I think for her, this is one of, I think, the best strikers in the world. Chance creation, she's top 90% in players like her. So it's just, Jen, to me, it feels like a really smart move from Alyssa Thompson.
Yeah, it's funny. I love everyone's perspective on this, because my initial thought, and I think it's because experience in the WSL, was just like, Chelsea are doing what now? They're going for more depth? Are you kidding? Like 6 back-to-back WSL titles, won the treble last year, and they're just go-getters. They're right. Who's one of the best forwards in the world right now? We're going to go get her. So my initial reaction was like, Chelsea are just doing the absolute most to just be better year on year on year. I think everyone will be blown away by their front line. And if she is another addition, you're talking about Sam Kerr being back fit, Ramirez in the front line, Lauren James when she comes back fit as well, and now Thompson. It's just incredible. But no, Jordan, you're spot on. I think for any young player, she's already established herself in the NWSL. Everyone knows what she's capable of. But I think this will be such amazing growth for her if it does happen tactically, to go and explore in another league, go and, you know, perform week in, week out if she can solidify. You also got Ritten Cannerig, just thought of her, by the way, as another forward. Like, it's going to be so...
Keep adding to it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, it's going to be so competitive for her to earn that position in the front line. I think that's what any young player needs. So I think if it does happen, like when I saw her on the excused absence list, I'm like, okay, deal done. Like, that's just...
Yeah.
She'll be starting Friday night against Man City.
Maybe, right? One last point, Jen and Sandra, is I think this is a really important time for players leading into the 27 World Cup. And one of the benefits, I think, of going to play there is you're playing against international competition a lot, right? You're playing against a team from Spain. You're playing against a team from Germany. And so you're getting looks at players, defenders that you're going to see again in the World Cup that you maybe wouldn't if you're here in the United States.
Also, your current US manager, Emma Hayes, was the long-standing manager of Chelsea. So, like, she'll have asked all of the advice. What do you think? And if you've got the, you know, sort of the nod from your US manager to be like, yes, go and do it, my eyes will be still on you if you go back and play. Yeah, that's where Emma Hayes, I think, is still. I don't know where she's living, but she's watching all the games, right? But you've got all the advice of your national team manager to be like, great club, go and do it. So you've got that sort of backing. And I think when someone of that stature and caliber is telling you, yeah, it'll be great move, you go for it.
I think just to kind of maybe narrow the conversation into other really interesting points that I think folks are going to be talking about, even when and if this does come to fruition. My reactions were just like, immediately, good for the player. You only have so many years on your career, and you should absolutely make the most of every opportunity in front of you that comes your way. And sometimes it is about that timing. And maybe this is that timing where it feels right for Alyssa Thompson. And so I'm like, adios, God bless, like, represent yourself and everything else well. And then there's the sub layers of conversation here. And Jordan, you touched on this a little bit. Like, how big of a loss would this be for Angel City? And then to open that up a little bit to how big of a loss would this be for the league? And I think it feels like a particularly spicy topic, because this has been a very interesting year for the league in terms of player movement both in and out of the league. NWSL has been on the receiving ends of big transfers and going in and going out now, as we see the transfer market kind of balloon and evolve in the women's game. But this is a year where, you know, national team to NWSL, we saw a gold medal run. What was that? What were those storylines going to look like? And I have to imagine if folks were mapping out their content for 2025, that got blown to smithereens when you've got Mallory Swanson and Sophia Wilson expecting. And now you're also throwing in into the mix a very curious injury to Trinity Rodman, as she kind of has been in and out for long stretches of this season. So it opened up the conversation to, like, who are people keeping their eyes on in this league? Well, very quickly that became Alyssa Thompson in this league. And maybe you can open that up to others, in Allie Sentnor, Michelle Cooper, but Alyssa Thompson had absolutely looked at 2025, took it by the scruff of the neck and said, this is mine. This is a player that has been kind of in the conversation of MVP chatter in 2025. So you brought it up, Jordan. How big of a loss is this going to be for not only Angel City, but also the league?
Huge, massive. I think there will be a lot of disappointment because of the way that this league, there's a lot of eyeballs on it. And I think that is awesome. The league has grown so much and people are watching and realizing that the competition every single week, which we will talk about, is so fierce. It is the hardest league to play in. And I don't think the weekly games that Alyssa Thompson will get if she joins Chelsea and WSL will be of this stature, but they will be different things, like Jen just said, tactics, patience in some of the ways that they build that she will learn. But the intensity of this league is the best in the world. And it would be very difficult if you lose a superstar like Alyssa Thompson, because she is a young superstar. She has so much more to grow. But I think for the league in general, it worries you because she left. Even Angel City, I think there should be worries because that's now potentially 3 internationals within the last week who are leaving, which makes me have a big question mark in my mind as to, well, why are they leaving? That's maybe a different conversation. But with her and Naomi Girma both leaving, these are 2 players that I think everybody had eyeballs on. Both, well, one went to Chelsea, one potentially going to Chelsea. This is difficult for the league and something that, it won't change unless the salary cap has a major increase. You can pay players what they feel like they would earn somewhere else and keep them here. But they're big questions, and I think questions that the league is going to have until they figure out a way to keep these players here.
Jen, take me in the locker room to something like this. Your team on the cusp of playoffs. Yeah. You've now managed to turn these scrappy draws that you've been getting into wins. And they've got a couple of wins to hang their hat on. I mean, Strauss alluded to those. Say, hey, it feels like this team is turning a corner. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to look at a potential move like this as being like a white flag on a season when you are at the brink of potentially crossing that playoff line. So for the players who find themselves still in that hunt, in that push, what's the mentality and what do you do to just stay locked in to the energy that you have manifested so far?
I'm going to be brutally honest here. In my experience of those periods where your focus is winning games and you've got players who are in the media who want to go, let them go. Like, you just want to move forward as a team and you want to win. That was always, the experience I saw around the dressing room. And it was no bad blood, don't get me wrong. But we've all seen things that, if players want to go, that's where the noise ends up carrying. We've seen it in all the press conferences. We've seen managers have to answer questions. Players will be asked to ask questions as well. You just want to focus, and you're spot on. The feeling of chasing a playoff spot, and they're just off 2 wins back to back now, Angel City. And for me, you're looking at, right, okay, it is one of our best players, but credit to them. If a top club comes into them, you want to go see them be successful and you want the best for your mates and your teammates. The focus is now on us. How can we step up? It's about us now. We all need to go above and beyond for what our team needs, what the club needs, and look around the dressing room when you've got players like Ryland Tiernan stepping up, performing every week and scoring goals. Jon's daughter as well. I thought she was great against BFC last night. I thought she played really well. That simple ball in behind. So just have confidence in the players you have. And you say good luck. You want to watch them in the future. You wish them well. It's the best move. But internally, focus is on us. Focus is on us as a team getting a playoff spot. And for me, that's my experience and that mentality. And, especially in these transfer windows, it is a weird time. People are unhappy. They might want moves. And it happens. It's football. You just have to 1 foot forward and focus on the next training session, the next game. That's the way it is. It's football.
I will just add too, if any team can do it, it's this Angel City team, because they have dealt with adversity this year. Really difficult things happening to them with players with Savvy King, having to get through that mentally, recover from that. They have had 2 coaches. They've had this thought of like, okay, we're playing for this coach. Now we have to go to a different coach. They've already had players leave. And this is a team that has some real youngsters, but some older players that have the experience, like Jen just said, and have the ability to see the big picture and say, we can't control that. So let's control what we can control, which is their mentality, their work rate. And I think you saw it last night that this is a team, despite who's on the field, they are going to come out and give you their best and really come after you. So I think, you just got to control what you can control. And in this moment, that is their performance on the field.
I got to say, it's so refreshing to hear that, Jen. And teed you up on that, not just because I felt like you were going to give me that, because I didn't know, you could have said that this is, all butterflies and sunshine and everything's fine. But it's nice. It's refreshing to sort of hear you kind of speak so transparently about that, because I'm in agreement with that. This Angel City team is, I hate to be this way, but it's not new territory for them. I mean, Strauss alluded to that in his comments about this group having to adapt to those things and lock in and move forward, because that is the sporting business side of football sometimes. And I think for the type of player it is, there's going to be all this conversation because it is a rising superstar in Alyssa Thompson. And for me, I think she's culture. Like, Alyssa Thompson is culture. She's going to be this sort of this is going to be like a cultural shifting kind of move, because I think she's the perfect player to kind of gauge that meter about, club loyalty, player loyalty, which is a conversation that we also have on this show from time to time. There's something so special about the dedicated fan base in NWSL and how player focused and player attached it is. And how on the other side of things, if you are a club trying to build that similar loyalty, you're finding the challenges of that, because fans are sometimes following the player where they go versus the club. And I think Angel City is in an incredibly unique position, because I would argue that there may be one of a handful, maybe even one of like 3 clubs that have established themselves with brand loyalty, club loyalty. I would say Angel City, Spirit, I would include in this conversation, and Kansas City Current, really. Like, there will be players who come and go and wear that crest and wear that jersey. But those fans, those season ticket holders, they bought to support the club. That's not to say that they're still not going to be a fan of whatever player XYZ when they come in and out, but they're still going to go to those games and they're still going to be dedicated. But we see some of those signs, like Alyssa Thompson, please don't go, like stay in Angel City, don't go to Chelsea. So you still see some of that. So for me, I'm so intrigued by the possibility of this move, because even though you will see that throughout clubs, the player movement coming and going, I'm curious to see about the support that comes after that and how it still kind of grows and stays. Because you do have these incredible forwards who are starting to build this budding chemistry. It's Riley Tiernan, who's slicing and dicing defenders and setting club records for goals. Or John's daughter, who's looking more and more powerful week to week. Like, she's just getting stronger and more adapted into this league as the weeks go on, which is kind of what you want at this point in the season. So in terms of like the generalities of will Angel City be okay, I actually think they're going to be just fine, because they have done a lot of work to make sure that their club is representative within the community and that they want to be a staple within the larger landscape of greater Los Angeles sporting franchises. So it's something that we'll have to keep an eye on, because nothing's done until it's done. Will it be this window? Will it be the winter window? Who knows? Stay tuned. We'll be waiting to see what comes out of this one.